Travel and the internet, they're made for each other, with millions of travellers able to access billions of combinations of airline seats, hotel rooms and rental cars. In the 21st century, anyone with access to the World Wide Web and a payment card can put together their perfect trip with just a few keystrokes. But with this opportunity and the increasing pace of life comes a range of risks. Here at Fast Track, we're aware of many cases where passengers have booked flights for the wrong day or the wrong departure airport. And even if you get those right, you can get the name wrong by reversing the first and last names. A woman using her married name when her passport is in the maiden name, or a simple typing error. Until this year, though, we hadn't heard of such extreme consequences as one missing letter from a name that cost the customer $1,300. That's £825. Lynn Booty and her husband Christopher from Sussex were planning a dream trip to Australia.
Well, we had some really exciting news that our daughter out in Australia was about to get married. Unfortunately, she said it's within the next sort of 8 weeks, so sort of panic. I thought we need to book. Always booked through Expedia. Got online, booked our flight with Emirates. Thought no more of it. Got the itinerary back. Then noticed a spelling mistake in my husband's name. The T was missing out of Christopher. The next morning we contacted Expedia, who said they couldn't do anything because Emirates wasn't operating that day. It was a Sunday. And so my daughter said, oh, I think I'll go into Emirates site, because you can actually make amendments on the actual Emirates site. So she went onto their site, and yes, you could. So we made the amendment.
So immediately they noticed the problem, they tried contacting both the agent Expedia and the airline Emirates to put it right.
Basically, this one spelling mistake with the letter T meant that I had to... The only way I was going to be able to get a flight for my husband with me was to rebook. I mean, the bottom line is I've been charged £825 for misspelling a name. Now, I could have left that and thought, oh, I'll risk it. But Emirates said there's every chance your husband will not be allowed into Australia if the name on his ticket doesn't match the passport.
I think that we can't be the only people who make a mistake, and I believe, you know, that there ought to be something there to resolve mistakes like this that are corrected in a very short time.
You might imagine that once you've paid for an airline seat, it should be yours to do with as you wish. But the airlines are very sensitive about who's on board. One reason is commercial. In the past, when there was no ID check made against the name on the ticket, some travellers and travel agents would buy cheap seats months in advance and then sell them close to departure at a huge profit. And the threat of terrorism means that governments are very concerned about who is flying where.
It's absolutely vital that we get the name right, because we have to give the right name to the government authorities. We have to give them the right names to immigration, and in this case we have to give the right name for the Australian visa as well. If you've got a name that could be misconstrued, my own name could be Laurie, I'm actually christened Lawrence, or it could be spelled L-A, I spell it L-A-U, it could be spelled L-A-W. So if you're saying something over the phone, make sure you get it right. And if the airline or travel company concerned will allow you to use an initial for your first name, just use an initial, because there could be no confusion then.
It would have been far cheaper for Christopher legally to change his name to Christopher, get a new passport in that name to match the booking, and then after the trip to revert to his real identity. Sounds absurd? Well, we thought so. Fortunately, after Fast Track got involved, Emirates decided to give the couple a full refund. Oh, hello, is that Lynn? It's Simon here.
Oh, hi Simon, I'm just getting on the train actually.
Oh, how exciting.
Go ahead.
I've been speaking to Expedia and to Emirates, and Emirates tells me that when I said it seemed a little unfair that you should pay for the same seat twice, they said they'd agree and they would refund you in full for the money that you spent on the second ticket.
Oh right, that's fantastic. I'm just so grateful, and so, you know, it's restored my faith actually.
This was an unfortunate case in Lynn Booty's case, because what happened there is unfortunately called the wrong phone number. And we're taking that up locally with Expedia, who are the booking agents, to make sure in future they get it right.
The couple will now be able to afford a proper wedding present for their daughter. But why did they have to go through such stress? In my experience of such cases, when there's an agent involved as well as an airline, they will often blame one another. Expedia told us,
"Our agent double-checked with the airline and was advised by our airline contact that a remark would be placed on the booking to amend the name, but that travel could not be guaranteed other than by cancelling and rebooking. So we're very pleased that Emirates has now been able to resolve this with the customer."
What do other airlines do when things go wrong? Qantas of Australia and British Airways both have a cooling off period in which any mistakes are put right free of charge. American Airlines says legitimate changes to a passenger's name will be accommodated, and Virgin Atlantic will correct mistakes for a flat $50 fee up to 2 hours before departure. Back in West Sussex, Lynn and husband Christopher are going ahead on their 10,000-mile trip to Melbourne for what we all hope will be one of the happiest days of their lives, to see their daughter Victoria get married.